everyone, thanks so much for joining me. In this video we're going to be covering Crescent Lunge and some variations of Warrior 3. One can kind of lead in to the next. Crescent Lunge is a great hip stabilizer, totally related to High Lunge and in that same family as Warrior 1. I'm going to be using a wall today, so hopefully you'll have access to it. You don't need a lot of space, but at least some for your foot to be on the wall, you'll see, and a couple of blocks might be helpful. And we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm going to head back to the mat here, and you just choose a foot that you're going to have in front, one that's going to be in back, and you want to get your back heel at that wall. Okay, it's just going to give you reference, okay? But you want to make sure that this doesn't disturb the toes. And then you're going to need to have enough space out in front of you so that when you bend the knee, it's going to stack over the heels. So I'm going to use my walls here. Okay, to step, I could scooch. I don't necessarily have to have them, but it makes it easier. Okay, so I'll start out this way and then potentially adjust. So I love having this reference. The first thing though that I need to do is bend my back knee. Okay, and so as I have this knee bent and I'm rooting my heel across the wall, rooting the balls of the feet, balls of the foot across the mat, I want to pull energy up, and I want to really get this thigh bone, especially this back thigh bone, nice and snug in my hip joint. And then I say this in a lot of videos, but you want to engage your inner thighs as though you're hugging a block, or in some videos like forward fold and chair pose, we use the block, okay, but you can't use it here when the legs are situated this way. But you can use that reference, that mental reference. So I'm going to do that again. Bending the back knee, pulling the thigh bones upward, up and slightly back into the hip joints, and then engaging the inner thighs, the base of the glutes, and finding length. And then straightening that back leg. I can feel that I can get deeper into this, so I just scooch my foot, okay, a little bit forward so I stay stacked. And it's a constant dance, at least for me, where I have to go, okay, wait, let's do that again. Lengthen, okay, I can feel inner thighs, base of glutes, everything's good. And that back wall, okay, having it, and I'm not even really using this, even though I'm slightly wobbly here, but that reference, that back wall really allows me to feel a lot more stable and secure than I might without it, and we'll probably get to see that. Okay, so just exploring this crescent lunge. You could have your hands behind you, maybe at your hips. You want to make sure, because this absolutely has a back bend in it, that you don't feel any kind of pinch. You have a seamless line. Did this in Warrior 1, but I love to do this. So bringing the hands back behind it, elbows pointing forward, head of the arm bones back, again connecting, okay, all the way up, feeling my sides engage. Slight tuck of the chin, a little counter pressure here, hands to head, head to hands. I had to think about that. Finding extra length, and then maybe reaching up, connecting the hands if that feels good for your shoulders. Breathe. I have to really watch it because I keep dropping my hips. I feel that. All right, so exiting, I'm going to bend that back knee, kind of push, using some leverage here, and stepping forward. Maybe not that seamlessly, or I wouldn't have called that graceful, but still, you might need a couple steps, okay? But just shake it out. You might roll, checking with your toes, circling your ankle. Okay, you can absolutely do, some forward fold, just some things that kind of give you that sense of release and awareness. And then we'll just do the other side, okay? So switching this out, you can decide. I probably am spaced just right where I can step that foot back, and it's at least initially placed pretty well, okay? Or you might situate it first and then step forward. Totally up to you. I have these blocks handy just in case you don't have a wall here next to you. You might be using them here, okay? So I've got my initial setup, front knee somewhere approximately over that heel. It's fine to have it behind it. You just don't want the knee forward of this front heel, front ankle. Toes all pointing for center line of the foot, pointing forward. And then I'm going to bend that back knee, referencing the wall, pulling the thigh bones up into the hip joints, engaging inner thighs, base of glutes, straightening that back leg. I can feel the engagement, the length, zero pinch anywhere in the spine. Feels so good. Okay, this I always like to take the arms back behind. Good. And then you could do this thing again or go right into that stretch. Smooth, deep breaths. I find hip stabilizers really tough, but my reward for this is the back bend, which I always love. Okay, so that might not be your thing, and you might prefer to have your hands on blocks or here at a wall and just take out the back bend and feel just more of the leg engagement. Okay, all right, so I'm going to bend that back knee, push, 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 and step the foot forward. Again, shaking it out. So just practicing that with the wall and then stepping away from the wall and feeling, can you still reference it and is it helpful? Okay, so only do that, right? Only do this if it's helpful. Hopefully it is. Okay, and then crescent lunge and how it relates pretty well, maybe not smoothly, okay, but it has the potential to do it smoothly right into either warrior three, airplane, arms back behind. So just variations of warrior three, which is a balance pose. So I'm going to position myself so that I could access the wall. It's going to be a test though here to see if I have the right spacing. Okay, so 1 foot forward. I think I'll have it this way. So this foot forward, this foot back. I'm just going to test it. I'm a little bit far. I feel taller than I am. So anyway, okay. So getting that back foot, okay, and I need the toes to point down. I don't really think of it as a safety issue, okay, but you are going to maintain your lines better if your back foot toes are pointing down, and you'll also have a better chance of engaging and lengthening, okay? So I'm using that wall. I'm going to take my toes, just the toes, away from the wall and still use my heel and the ball of the foot against the wall. Okay, I'm going to bend this front knee. You can keep it bent. It doesn't have to be straight. So if your hamstrings are really tight, you could absolutely do this with your front knee bent. Okay, just make sure there's no stress in it. All right, so I'm going to press across my heel, both of them, but I'm really trying to be mindful of the one at the wall. Pressing across the ball of the foot, and again, pulling the thigh bones up into the hip joints, lengthening the spine. I'm gonna let my heel leave the wall. Okay, just finding this length, finding this space, trying to prevent the back bend my body always wants to go in. Okay, taking one arm forward and just testing how does this feel in the shoulder, neck area. Okay, lowering it down. Okay, smooth, deep breath. So I want, just as I want the thigh bones and the hip joints, I want the arm bones and the shoulder joints. Lengthen. Testing the other one. Both maybe. I'm already tired. Okay, taking that foot away from the wall, but yet trying to keep it active. My standing leg needed to bend. Okay, and then lowering your hands, lowering your foot, resting. It's a lot of work. Warrior three is tough. Tough muscularly, tough to keep the bones stacked because your body, at least mine, would want to, does want to avoid the work, compensate for the work, take it into the neck, take it into the low back. And so I'm really just trying to have that straight line, okay? Let's do the second side. All right, so toes pointing forward. There's still the center lines, right? So if you have the center line of each foot, they are still going to be parallel and they're still going to be pointing. So the front foot's going to be pointing forward, the back foot's going to be pointing down, maybe at a slight shift. Okay. All right. So I'm going to enter it this way with both knees bent. See, am I? Yeah. Mostly in the right position for access to the wall. Okay. Again, the knees can start out bent here. Okay. I just need to get that energy to come upward, to get the thigh bones up into the hip joints, to squeeze, thinking about crescent lunge, to squeeze the inner thighs, base of glutes, lengthening the torso, trying not to turn my lifted foot, leg out to the side. That's going to really steal from the strength of the pose, and I want it to be equal, right? Not dominant in one side. All right, so lengthening. I feel more powerful on this side. This is my right leg, so it makes sense because that's tends to be more dominant in my life. All right, testing here, letting my heel leave the wall, Smooth, deep breaths, keeping the ball of the foot at the wall as I extend both arms, really checking in with the neck and shoulders, taking the ball of the foot away from the wall, pretending it's still there, and it is. I have access to it, which gives me courage to explore. And then lowering, bending the knees, resting, okay? Just trying to find length, trying to find sense of ease. A lot of work. Fabulous poses, great ones to work with stability, with awareness, to connect with where are the areas of your body that try to take over, that really aren't served well doing that, and would really benefit from letting other muscles do some of the work. So it's a process. Anyway, Crescent Lunge, Warrior 3. I hope this was helpful. You can hear me. I hope you have a great day. Namaste.